Hi friends, my name is Aqil Ahmad, and in this particular video tutorial we will see how to export data to multiple Excel files in SSIS. So the agenda of today's video tutorial is that we will see how can we export the data to multiple Excel files in SSIS. So exporting the data to Excel file is a bit tricky as compared to exporting the data to CSV files, and especially in the cases where you need to export data to multiple files. So suppose if you need to export the data to multiple CSV file or the TXT file, then it's actually pretty easy as compared to exporting the data to the Excel file, because the CSV files can be created automatically at runtime if you give a new file name. However, there can be some issues while creating the Excel files. They cannot be created automatically actually, for example, either you can use a template file, so you can just copy the template file from one location to another location for every Excel file that is going to be created. Okay, so you can simply copy a template file. So that's one solution. The another solution can be that you can actually create the Excel sheet for every Excel file that you are going to export. So we are going to see the easiest solution, which is like how can we copy the template file method and can export the data from a SQL Server table to multiple Excel files. So without wasting further time, let's jump to the demo. I got the SQL Server 2019 instance, and in the 2019 instance I got the AdventureWorks 2019 database. So this database you can download from Microsoft site, and I also created a video like how you can download and restore the AdventureWorks 2019 database in case if you don't have the database. So I can maybe share the link of that video as well in the description of this video. So if you expand the database and if you expand the tables, so here we have a lot of different tables. So today we are going to see like how we can export the data from this table, sales order detail table. So if I select the data from this particular table, so this particular table contains the information about the order details for different orders. For example, if you look at the sales order detail ID 1, so here the order quantity is 1. If you look at the sales order detail ID 2, so the order quantity is 3. For another record, the order quantity is 2, right? Here the order quantity is 4. So we have different order quantities in this particular table. Okay, maybe I can check like how many distinct order quantities we have. So I can write a query, select distinct, and then I can copy this query from, and now I want to get the distinct order quantity. Okay, so in this particular table we have 41 distinct order quantity. Okay, so that's fine. So now what actually I want is that I want to export the data from this table into different Excel sheet based on the order quantity. Okay, so the order quantity 1 data, all the data where the order quantity is 1, that should be exported to the Excel file sales order detail underscore 1. Same way, all the data where the order quantity is 2, it should be exported to the Excel file sales order detail underscore 2 dot xlsx. Same way, all data where the order quantity is 3, it should be exported to an Excel file sales order detail underscore 3 dot xlsx, and so on. Okay, so this is what I actually want. So if I remove this top clause from this particular query, and if I put a where clause here like where order quantity equal to 1, so this will show you the number of records for the order quantity 1. So the total number of records for the order quantity 1 is 74,000. Same way, if we look for the order quantity 10, then the total number of records are 768 records. Okay, so this data should be exported to the Excel files. So this is the requirement. Okay, so now let's try to write the code for in the SSIS package. Okay, so what I can do, I can actually open the SSIS package. So this is my blank SSIS package that we are going to use today to export the data. So how we can actually export the data, like what method we can use. So if you have seen my previous videos on SSIS and especially about the for each loop container, so this thing can be done using the for each loop container with ADO enumerator. There are different type of enumerators in the for each loop container like file enumerator, ADO enumerator, row set schema enumerator, etc. What exactly we can do? If you look at the distinct query, so we can actually get the distinct order quantity from this particular table, and we can assign that value into the object variable. And then in the for each loop container, we can actually just loop through every order quantity one by one. So we can put the order by here as well, like order by order quantity, so that the data can be read in a particular sequence, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and so on. So this way the data will be exported in a particular sequence, and this data will be stored in an object variable as a full result set. And then in the for each loop container, we can actually iterate through each value at a time, and that value can be stored in SSIS variable, string variable, and that value can be passed to this particular query. So this query can be executed, and this value, like order quantity 10 value, like either 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, whatever value is this one, so this value will come from, from this particular query. So this way we can get the value from here, and we can pass the value to this particular query, and this way this query can be dynamic, okay, and we can fetch the data for different order quantity. So this is the thing that we want to do. And another thing is that this order quantity, we want to actually append this value, this order quantity value, we want to append to the file name as well. Like the file name will be sales order detail _1 or _2 or _3 and so on. So this value order quantity, this value we want in a string variable, okay, so that we can easily concatenate that value in the file name. However, if you look at the if you look at the schema of this particular table, so I can press Alt F1, so this can show us the details about the table. So if you look at the order quantity, so the order quantity is of type small int, okay. However, I want the order quantity of type varchar in the SSIS package, so that I can actually concatenate that variable into the file name, okay, because the file name will change for every order quantity. So that's why I need this order quantity in the string format. So I can actually go back to the SSIS package, and first of all I can declare few variables, and the first variable that I will declare is the object variable that will hold the all records from the SQL Server table, like all this particular record, all these records. So I can actually create the variable, and I can call it as obj order quantity, okay, and the data type I need to put is object. Now I need another variable, and I will call that variable as order quantity, okay, and the data type I want to assign is as the string variable, because this variable I want to use in the file name as well. So that's why I'm taking the data type as string. Otherwise you can take the data type as integer as well, and then at the time of concatenating the file name, you actually need to convert into the string. So but I'm taking it as a string to keep the thing simple. So I'm just providing a default value right now as 1, okay. This value will actually change during the iteration in the for each loop container. So that's fine. Now in this particular query, it's returning the data in the integer format, small int format. However, in the variable, I just declared the variable as the string. So that's why I can actually typecast this particular value as varchar 10, okay, and I can call it as order quantity. So that's fine. So now I just typecasted it. It's saying incorrect syntax near varchar, cast order quantity as varchar 10. So that this is fine now. So now this is of type varchar, okay, so this will be good now. So I can actually copy this particular query from here. So if you remember, when we use the for each loop container with ADO enumerator, so the first task before the for each loop container will be the execute SQL task, in which we actually get the data from the SQL Server table and assign it to the object variable. So we can just drag and drop the execute SQL task into the control flow window, and we can call it as get distinct order quantity, okay. And now we can actually configure this particular query. From the connection, we can select the connection. So we already have a connection actually declared in our machine, so we can use this particular connection. Click OK, and now under the SQL statement we can paste this particular query. So this query will return the distinct order quantity from the sales order detail table, and we will sort the data based on the order quantity. So I can click OK. Now in the result set we will select the full result set, then we will click on the result set, click add. The result set name we can give as 0. Okay, and now the variable name we will select the object variable, because the object variable can hold the multiple records. Those are written from the SQL query. So I can click OK, and now we can use the for each loop container. So I can just drag and drop the for each loop container into the control flow window, and then we can connect the execute SQL task with the for each loop container. Now what we can do, we can use the data flow task. So I can actually drag and drop the data flow task, because the data flow task will be used to export the data from the SQL Server table to the Excel file. So I can call it as export data to Excel. Okay, now I can configure the data flow task. Okay, so our source is the SQL Server table, so we can use the OLEDB source here. Okay, and now in the OLEDB source we actually need to put this particular query. However, this value, like 10 value or 1 value, this will be provided automatically from the SSIS variable. So we actually need to copy this particular query from here, and what we can do, we can actually declare another variable, and I can call the variable as SQL query. Okay, and the data type can be a string here. Now in the expression we can put this particular query. So I can put the double quote, paste the query and the double quote. Now instead of this value 10, we can actually get the value from the SSIS variable. Okay, like we have the SSIS variable order quantity, so we can actually put the double quote here, double quote plus double quote. Okay, and now between the 2 plus sign we can just drag and drop the order quantity. Okay, so we can click on evaluate expression, and now the expression got evaluated successfully. Now this query is dynamic. The value of the order quantity, this is dynamic, and this will be changed one by one during the for each loop iteration. So I can click OK. So this is good now. Now in the OLEDB source, from the data access mode we will select the SQL command from variable, and from the variable name we will select the SQL query variable. Okay, so right now the value is 1, because we have provided the default value in the order quantity as 1. However, this value will be provided automatically at the runtime. So I can click on columns. So these are the columns, those will be exported. So I can click OK. Now because we want to export the data to the Excel file, so we can just drag and drop the Excel destination here. Now we can connect the OLEDB source with the Excel destination, and we can configure the Excel destination. Now we can click new to create the Excel file. We can browse the location where we want the Excel file to be created. So I want the file name as sales order detail and then underscore something, underscore 1.xls or underscore 2.xls or something. So I can paste the name here, and I can say underscore 1.xlsx. Okay, so this name I can provide. So I can click OK, and now I can click OK. So the Excel file got created. Now we need to create the Excel sheet. So to create the Excel sheet, we can click on new, and then you can click OK. So here the sheet name I want to give as sheet 1. Although you can give any name, but normally the name of the Excel sheet will be sheet 1. So now this is the data type for different columns. So all these columns, they are coming from the SQL Server table. So if you look at these columns, sales order ID, sales order detail ID, all these columns, they are coming from the SQL query, from this query. So now if you see here, these are the data types. So let's click on OK. So this is saying that invalid precision for decimal data type. Okay, so I can click OK. So the precision is given here. So instead of this numeric value, we can actually use the float value here, or the money value. So maybe I can copy the money value from here, and we can give the money data type to this particular column as well, line total. Now I can click OK. So the Excel sheet got created. Now from the drop down, I can select the sheet without dollar, and I can go to the mappings. So the input columns have been mapped with the destination columns, so I can click OK. So this is good now. Now I can actually change the Excel connection manager to maybe export Excel. This is fine, like it makes sense, so that we know that this connection manager is used for exporting the data, because there can be some connection manager in the SSIS package which are used to import the data. So that's why I just given this name. Now I can go back to the control flow. So this is good. Now there is one thing, because this connection manager is right now pointing to this location, sales order detail underscore 1. Okay. However, to export the data to multiple file, we need to make this particular file as a template file, and then the template file can be copied over to this location for every iteration of the for each loop container. Okay, so here to keep the template file, I can actually create a template folder. So I can create a template folder. Okay, now I can actually move this file inside the template folder, and maybe I can just rename the file as sales order detail.xlsx. Now I can open this particular file and I can see like what kind of data it contains. So right now it contains only the header information, so it doesn't contain anything else, just the header information. So this is the template file, and this file can actually be copied for every file that will be exported. Okay, so maybe I can just select these columns and I can do them as bold. Okay, if you want. And if you want to suppose highlight these columns, so you can just select, highlight these columns as well. So this is fine. If you do not want to do anything, then you can just ignore all of this and just keep the file as it is, whatever the file was generated. So I can click close, save. So this file is empty right now. Okay, we have not like inserted any data. These columns, like this sheet was created from the SSIS, and like these columns were also present there. I just highlighted them and I just kept them in bold. So that's the only thing I did. So we are good here. We created a template folder and we created a template file. Okay, now for every time the file will be created, this file will be copied over to this location and a new name will be given, and the new name will be like sales order detail underscore quantity, order quantity. Okay, so this is how it will work. So now we can actually create two more variable. The first variable will be template file. Okay, and the data type will be string, and then we can actually give the path of the template file. So I can copy this value from here, paste it here. Okay, and now we want to create a variable for the Excel file path, the file that will be exported. So I can call it as Excel file path, and the data type will be string. And now this value, the value of the Excel file path, that will be dynamic. So we need to use some variables in it, so that's why we need to go to expressions, and from here we want to export the data to this location. So I can copy this path from here, d files. So in the double quote I can paste this value, I can end the double quote. And remember, in SSIS expressions, if you need to use the single backslash, then you need to put the 2 backslash. So just click on evaluate expression. So this is giving us the folder path. Now we can put 2 more backslash here, so that 1 backslash can be added. And now we want to create the file with this name, sales order detail. So I can copy this name from here and I can paste this name here. So this will be like dv file sales order detail, and then we want to give the name as underscore. Okay, so it will add the underscore here, and now we want to append the order quantity. So we can put the plus sign, and after plus sign we can drag and drop the order quantity here, and then click evaluate expression. So this will add the order quantity, and this value will be dynamic. So for every file that will be exported, this value will be different. And now we want to add the extension here. So I can put like .xlsx in the double quote. So we can click evaluate expression. So this will be the name of the final file, sales order detail underscore 1.xlsx, and this the value of the one, this will change for every file. So I can click OK. So this is the Excel file path, and the value will change for every file. Okay, so now what I can do, for every file, like before exporting the file, we will actually copy the file from the template folder into this particular location. So to copy the file in the SSIS, we can use the file system task. So I can just drag and drop the file system task into the for each loop container, and I can call it as copy template file. Okay, and then I can configure the file system task. The operation will be copy file. Okay, now the is source path variable true. So the source is the template file, so we can select the template file from here. Is destination path variable true. The destination will be the Excel file path, and then override destination we can set it to true. Like if the file already exists at the destination folder, then it will override that file. So this is good. So I can click OK. Now we can connect the copy template file with the data flow task. So now our package is almost ready. One thing that we need to do is that this export Excel connection manager, we need to make this connection manager as dynamic. So right now the path of the Excel file will be in this particular variable Excel file path. So using this variable we need to make the connection manager dynamic. So if you go to the properties of the Excel connection manager, so you can see that the Excel file path is inside the property Excel file path. So we need to make the Excel file path property dynamic. So we can click on these expressions, then click on these three dots, select the Excel file path property. Now this value should come from the SSIS variable Excel file path. So I can just drag and drop the Excel file path into the expression, click on evaluate expression. So this is good. Now click on OK. OK. So our package is almost ready. The only thing that is remaining is right now is that the delay validation property of the SSIS package is false, because the default option is false. So that's why it's false. Now when I will execute the package, so it will fail. It will say that this file sales order detail _1, this does not exist at the D files location. Right now we don't have this file, so that's why it will try to validate the location of this file here. Okay, because it's used in the data flow task, so the package will fail. So we need to set the delay validation property to true. So that's the only thing that we need to do. So let's try to execute the SSIS package. So this is failing. It's saying that error at export data to Excel at the Excel destination, opening a row set for sheet 1. Check that the object exists in the database. So it's saying that the sheet 1, it's unable to open the sheet 1 because the sheet 1 does not exist at this location. So this is correct because the file does not exist here. So what we can do, the file will actually be copied at the previous task inside the copy template file task. So ideally the SSIS package should not validate this data flow task at the moment, because the file will be created at the copy template file. This will be copied over. Okay, so to skip this particular error and to not validate or not authenticate the data flow task right now, we can actually set the delay validation property of the SSIS package to true. So right click on the control flow, go to the properties. So this will show the package properties. So there is a property delay validation. So you can set the delay validation to true. Okay, so this is good. So you can save the package and now you can execute the SSIS package. So now it should start exporting the data from the SQL Server table to the Excel file. Okay, so it did nothing actually. Okay, let's see, maybe I think I have not configured the for each loop container. So I can go to the for each loop container, I can click on edit, and let's see, maybe I skipped configuring the for each loop container. Yeah, that's true. So I have actually not configured the for each loop container, so let's do it. So from the enumerator we can select the ADO enumerator. Now from the ADO object source variable we can select the obj order quantity, and now from the variable mapping we can select the order quantity. Okay, because if you go to the collection, so here we need to use the object variable, so that's why we are using the object variable order quantity, and this is the data that will be stored inside the object variable, and then it will iterate through one record at a time, order quantity. So that's why we need to use the order quantity here, which is of type string. So I can click OK, and now we are good to rerun the SSIS package, and this should export the data now. So it has started actually exporting the data. So you can see that the data is being exported right now. Okay, so I think for the first file there are 74,000 records, those will be exported. Okay, so you can see that the data is being exported right now. Alright, so the first file got exported, 74,000 records got exported. Now it is started exporting the rest of the files. So I think this is working absolutely fine, like as expected. It's generating files for different order quantity. Okay, so we can go back to the SSIS package and we can see that it's working. I think there are 41 files, those needs to be exported. So I can go to the control flow, the package is running. So this can be helpful in the cases where you want to export the data to the Excel file. If you need to export the data to the CSV file, then you don't need to copy the template file, so you don't need this task, the file system task. So the package ran fine, and if you go to this location, so you can see that it has exported the data for the 41 files, and same 41 files, the order quantity you can see here. Now for example, for the file number 10, there should be 768 rows. So if I open the file number 10, so there should be 768 records. Okay, so I can actually come here and I can see 768 records, right? First record is the header information, so that's why we have 768 records in the file. Same way, if you want to see the data for other type of quantity as well, like order quantity, for example 19, so there are 53 records. Okay, 19, so I can open this file as well, and there should be 53 records. Yeah, 54, and first record is the header, so that's why the actual records are the 53 records. Yeah, so the data got exported correctly. Okay, so yeah, this was the way like how you can export the data to multiple Excel files using SSIS. So if you got any question, then you can ask the questions, you can put your comments on the video. Yeah, so I think that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching the video, and if you like the video, then please click the like button, do subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon and click on all so that you will be notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much.